In my 1 p.m. segment, I said I was going to do this at 4. I ended up switching it out for a story about AOC. But basically, I have this big thing where I want to show you there's a really weird break between how the Democrats view rights and conservatives view rights. It seems that one of the big divides in the culture war isn't necessarily left versus right, libertarian, authoritarian, whatever word you want to use. I don't know. But I do think I have identified another factor, and it looks like Fox News keeps crashing, but it's fine, whatever. One of these factors is whether or not rights are strictly within government or inalienable and existing in all facets of life. Notably, innocence until proven guilty. In impeachment right now, they keep saying Trump has the opportunity to prove his innocence. Trump doesn't need to prove anything. The burden is on the accuser, not the accused. That's how our law works. But it's not about government institutions. It's about what's fair and just. Do our rights exist everywhere, or do they only exist in the confines of a government courthouse? It would seem the left very, very seriously believes our rights are derived from and contained in government institutions and practices. And that's not true. Case in point, Donald Trump, innocent until proven guilty, regardless of whether it's criminal or not. Brett Kavanaugh, innocent until proven guilty, regardless of whether or not it's a criminal trial or not. Free speech, it exists outside of the government. So I want to show you this story, and then I'll go into more detail on these points. House Democratic leaders' remark about letting Trump, quote, prove innocence should alarm Americans. Fox News writes, House Judiciary Committee ranking member Doug Collins said Democrats are exposing their true contempt for the Constitution and the individual rights therein with how they are conducting the impeachment of Trump. In an interview airing Sunday at 8 p.m., so I guess in a couple hours from when you watch this, if you watch this when it publishes, Collins said Trump was overtly denied the same due process afforded to every other American under the Constitution, adding the House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer made an alarming statement to that effect. Hoyer, the number 2 Democrat in the House, defended the House's impeachment inquiry last month by remarking that Trump was afforded, quote, every opportunity to prove his innocence. Instead, he ignored congressional subpoenas for documents and for testimony by White House officials and ordered his subordinates not to cooperate. That itself is unprecedented. Collins told host Mark Levin that no American has to prove their innocence. In fact, the burden of proof falls on the opposite party, and it should be difficult. It should not be easy. Democrats are upset that Trump wouldn't abide by subpoenas or order his subordinates not to cooperate, citing executive privilege. They can take it up with the Supreme Court. That's how the system works. You know why? You can accuse Trump of everything you want, but you have to prove it. And if you can't get Trump's documents, you need to seek legal recourse. They didn't do that. Mr. Hoyer from Maryland made a very revealing statement for anybody who's concerned about constitutional rights, and especially for me, even those of my Democratic counterparts who worry about their communities where they discuss police action and rights being violated. It's amazing to me how they're willingly setting that aside to come up with this. Steny Hoyer actually said, quote, we allowed him every opportunity to come prove his innocence. And that was the justification for the impeachment of Trump. I saw something funny. High-profile Twitter accounts was ranting about. They said Trump, is being impeached and everyone's angry. And they said, here our position. Our position is clear. The OLC opinion is that Trump can't be indicted for any crimes, and because Trump committed no crimes, we can't actually impeach him. Wait a minute. They said that they tried combining these two non-issues, that the Democrats can't impeach Trump for an actual statutory crime because the OLC opinion is the president can't be convicted of a crime, which makes no sense. Now, at first, a lot of people saw that and started going like, yeah, they start laughing like many of these leftists do. No. If Trump committed a crime, the impeachment was the indictment, not the conviction. You moron. I know I don't insult people very often. It's been one of those days. I've insulted people quite a bit. I'll try and stop. The point is, if the Democrats think Trump committed a crime, that's what impeachment is for. It is the indictment of that crime towards the president to remove him from office, and the Senate votes to convict. If the Democrats wanted Trump removed, they would say, we have probable cause for these things. We think Trump committed this statutory crime. Therefore, we impeach, and now it goes to trial. That's not what's happening, though. Trump's been impeached with no statutory crime, and they're arguing he can prove his innocence. He doesn't have to prove anything. That's not how English common law works. But therein lies the big divide between left and right. I think one of the reasons they view me as right-wing, even though policy-wise, I'd probably fall, actually kind of far left on a lot of issues. But it's that I recognize our rights are inalienable and exist outside the confines of government. Meaning, I don't care where you are or why. If I'll put it this way, you come into my house and accuse my dog of farting, I'll say it's on you to prove he farted because my dog is innocent until proven guilty. I'm not talking about a court of law, criminal prosecution. I'm talking about you ragging on my dog. My dog did not fart. You must provide evidence. Guess what? You can't do it. Too bad. The dog gets to stay and hang out while we eat dinner. If you could prove he farted, I'd send him in the other room. The point is, I know it's kind of silly, but I don't care if it's your job, a job interview. I don't care if it's your neighbor accusing you. The burden of proof exists on the accuser, not the accused. Democrats don't seem to think so. We can take a look at Brett Kavanaugh. Okay, I got to try and figure out where I got that Brett Kavanaugh article. I don't know. It's in here somewhere. Here we go. Trump said Kavanaugh was proven innocent. He wasn't. Here's what I love. First, they claim that, Brett Kavanaugh is not really on trial. It's just a job interview, right? And then when they couldn't prove a thing, they run this. They switch back to English common law. At first, it's like no one is putting Kavanaugh on a criminal trial. It's important we get to the bottom of what Christine Blasey Ford is saying because he's under a job interview. And if you were being interviewed by a job and someone accused you of assault, wouldn't that be important? No, it wouldn't be. Because they're accusing you, they got to prove it. I don't care what the repercussions are. I don't care if it's a year in jail, a day in jail, or a slap on the wrist. I don't care if it's your wife not making you pancakes for breakfast. You've got to prove your case. And so far, in every step, what have we seen? The left seems not to understand that rights exist outside of the government. Is that so hard to understand? Apparently so. So after they run this whole thing about Brett Kavanaugh's on a criminal trial, then Trump says he was proven innocent, and they switched back saying, the Washington Post runs this op-ed, investigations don't actually prove innocence. When someone is found not guilty, they may have actually committed the crime. But I thought you were just arguing Kavanaugh didn't commit any crime. You see how the game works? When it is one-sided towards the evil end, the authoritarian end. When it's a criminal, when it's a job interview, we're not going to give you the presumption of innocence. And as soon as we lose, we are going to switch back to that system where we say, well, we don't prove innocence anyway. Right. Check this out. I love this comic. I love ragging on this comic. It's the trashiest comic ever. And it's the perfect example of how the left doesn't seem to understand that rights exist outside of the government. The government does not grant you your rights. Your rights exist within you. The Constitution and the Bill of Rights stop the government from infringing on rights that already exist. You've probably seen this one. I love it. It's the XKCD comic written by someone who fundamentally misunderstands how the free speech works. Public service announcement. The right to free speech means the government can't arrest you for what you say. Full stop. No, it does not. The First Amendment says the government will not pass a law, yada. The First Amendment covers 5 different rights. It's blocking the government from infringing upon your rights. They already exist. They exist outside. The right to free speech means anyone cannot stop you from speaking and expressing yourself. I believe there is within reason. I think we can be reasonable, rational adults. It doesn't mean that anyone else has to listen to your BS or host you while you share it. The First Amendment doesn't shield you from criticism or consequences. Whoa, full stop. And here's the game. You just switch subjects. The First Amendment and free speech are different things. You see how the game is played? They do this all the time. They do it with immigration. You'll have someone come out and be like, I'm concerned that illegal immigrants might commit crime. And then they'll say, immigrants don't commit more crime than Americans. And you're like, that's great. I'm not talking about literally every immigrant. I'm talking about the ones who are entering the country illegally. And by doing so are committing crimes. The point is, they start with the right to free speech, and then they switch to the First Amendment. Maybe because they're just dumb. But he should really, XKCD, what is this guy's name? He should really delete this comic, man. Seriously, it is such an insane... First of all, the factual error. The First Amendment protects 5 of our rights from government infringement. Rights that already exist. More importantly, though, you're completely wrong about what the right to free speech is. How could you keep this up? I think it shows that, Right now, the left in this country is not concerned with what is just. Take a look at this. Dating app Bumble publishes full page ad in the New York Times. Believe women. No. You need evidence. Sorry. The brunt, it's on you. You make the accusation, it's on you, not on me, not on anybody else. If a woman comes out and says X happened, prove it. Don't care if you're a man, woman, Muslim, Christian, Jew, whatever, Buddhist. Got to throw in another religion there. The fact is, if you want to make a claim, you need to back it up. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and that which is presented without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. So anyway, the point of this segment is, I was going to do a lot longer one, but I got to wrap things up, keep these ones short. Every single controversy we've seen so far has been the left arguing that rights only exist within specific confines of government. Trump is innocent. If you want to accuse Trump of farting, he's innocent until you can prove it. Period. You want to accuse him of abuse of power? He is innocent until you prove it. And the burden is on you to prove it. I rest my case. Stick around. Next segment will be tomorrow at 10 a.m. Thanks for hanging out. We're getting really, really close to launching the new show. My buddy's going to be back in town tomorrow. And it's going to be, I don't know how I'm going to pull it off, but I guess I'm crazy. It's going to be Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. live every day. And then we're going to upload the segments the next day. It's going to be very, very different. It's at youtube.com/TimCastIRL. And I'm going to be working from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. That's going to be fun, I guess. I'll see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m.